as it was, because of course that is kind of how we do things, right? We stream, and we've been doing it for years, but it's really hit mainstream, and now streaming into the metaverse is really so cool. So please welcome Michael and Shabbat. Michael, welcome to the stage. Have a hot seat. Good. Okay, next we have here a gentleman that I have just met, but really have put some great things together here. Mr. Felipe Neras. Okay, sounds good. And then a guy that kind of almost doesn't need an introduction because he is so personable and he has that factor, and he goes around and he does a lot of events, and everybody probably knows him. And that is Fernando Ferraro, who's welcome to the stage. Apologies. And I just was having a great conversation. If you look at my Twitter at Networks Manager, I think we might be live here in a couple minutes, but you'll see a photo of me with an NFT right beside me in augmented reality. Really cool stuff that she has. Miss Olga Filatova. Welcome. And last but certainly not least, with great hair over here, and who we get to know each other more on stage. Please welcome to the stage, Susan O. Okay. I feel like now I'm giving an address to the UN. How NFTs are going to change the world. So guys, I've been in the space for a long time, about a decade. Bought my first Bitcoin under $70, and was lucky enough to kind of skip or see that the ICOs were going to be an issue for me as an American, and stay away from those and keep myself out of trouble. When the NFTs came around, I thought, well, that's pretty cool. My neighbor comes up to me the other day and he says, "Hey, Bruce, I need somebody. I'm going to interview somebody." And this guy, just a little bit of background. I told him to buy Bitcoin at 600. So we bought 6 Bitcoins at 600, and I couldn't get him. He was hugging me over the summer, Bruce, it's amazing. So he says, "I want to interview somebody that knows the most about NFTs in Washington, D.C." And I thought for a second, I actually don't think I know anybody that knows more about NFTs than I do. And he goes, "But you're crypto." And I said, "Well, what do you think an NFT is, right?" So maybe let's start with that, because it gives us a little bit of a history and kind of where we're going. And I know we kind of started off, so maybe I'll start with Olga. But how do you see this NFTs fitting into this crypto this crypto family that we have? You're up. You're in the hot seat.
Can you repeat the question, please?
Sure. So a lot of people, I think, and I'll rephrase it, with the NFTs, people are maybe unfamiliar with the fact that it is just a token that has a lot of stuff in it. We're looking for that. But how do you see the NFTs fitting into this crypto ecosystem that has been going on for over a decade?
I think I'm in NFT space since 2018. Then maybe even thousands of people only know what it is. And now so many people speaking about NFTs and on newspapers and everywhere I can hear NFT, all big brands now thinking about it. So I think NFT is the way for mass adoption of this technology, firstly, because not everybody in the world interested in some trading or financial operations, but more and more people like art, and they start thinking about what is NFTs and how they can use it. Also, nearly everybody now has their own digital assets, even the subscription to your Spotify or Apple Music is also a digital asset. So the NFT technology is very useful in in everyday life. So for me, NFT is a way of mass adoption blockchain technology.
Pretty cool. Yeah, it is interesting, to say the least. Michael, I popped the data kind of over to you. You have a streaming coin, and also a lot going on there that then through your partners goes into an NFT. How do you see the for people maybe like myself? How does that change the future of content producers, content production, and AOLs that might be out there?
Yeah, so basically, NFTing the video content that you create gives you 100% ownership. It's all about decentralization. It's all about 100% ownership. And owning an NFT is not just having the virtual or digital thing that it represents. It's more about the properties that come with it. So you, as a content creator, could also put down a couple of benefits for that certain person to have if they own that NFT. So let's say you're a bodybuilder, you're streaming, and you have fans. You could sell your NFT videos and put a benefit that person could get free membership into your gym that you have, that you're collaborating with. So there's a lot of business activities and potentials in the future. So I hope that answers the question.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. So one thing I've started to see actually here in Dubai is people, if you hold their token, you get on the yacht, right? Or you have their NFT, you get this, you get that. So Felipe, what are your thoughts? I mean, where do you see this space going with these NFTs?
Well, I'm only interested in NFTs if it solves a problem. And in my case, the company I run, WolfNext, we try to solve a major pollution problem, which is the human emission of mercury. We are all affected by mercury. There's 5,000 tons of mercury dumped into our ecosystem. And our venture, our WolfNext, we try to solve this problem. We use any tool in our that we can use to solve this problem. You mentioned the ICO. We use the ICO as a tool. Sure. Because it's a way for us to raise money, because nobody cares about this problem. If you go to the bank and to the hedge fund and say, oh, you know what, we're going to solve this major mercury problem of the planet, nobody cares about it. ICO was a beautiful tool to do it. And we raised money, we raised substantial money. Our seed money came from basically crypto crowdfunding. And I love ICO. And now it's NFTs. NFTs, I'm fine if it solves a problem. If I can use the NFT to solve the problem we try to address, I'm really fine with it.
Well, it is an amazing thing, right? With an NFT, one of the ways I explain it to people is that it is, you can fit a lot of code into that NFT. It's like an entire app on your phone you can have in that NFT. So there's a lot that can go on there. And just to clarify, I mean, I like the ICOs too. I just couldn't really participate in them, being from where I'm from. So Felipe, I know you have a couple of different projects. I'm sorry, Mr. Ferrara. I know you have a couple of different projects that you're working on in this space. We could talk about those and maybe touch on this would be great.
Yeah, just to address a little bit about NFTs, I think it's really about transacting virtual assets. In the gaming space, which is my main background, is giving the ability to actually have proper ownership of virtual assets. Because what's been happening up to date is that there are so many games that they have their own currency, like their gold, their silver, their virtual money, or Fortnite, like V-Bucks, and everyone is buying into those, but they cannot do anything with it. Like if you buy a custom skin on Fortnite or in any other game, you just own that skin, but only inside the game, so you don't actually own it. And NFTs is coming to change that because it gives people actual ownership over their virtual assets and make them transactable as well. So if you were able to, for example, in an MMO game, you were able to defeat some crazy hard monster, and you earn like some special loot for it, and this loot is not attached only for the game, but is actually presented as an NFT, then it can become even more valuable if it's rare, because you can transact it to people who are never able to finish that level, for example. So I think that NFTs is all about this virtualization of ownership that is going to bring more value to the whole gaming ecosystem. So I'm involved in gaming mostly, and I see that so many companies are now starting to develop their own ecosystems, where if you own their currency, it's not just locked into a game, and it's going to be able to be transactable within a whole ecosystem of games. Maybe in the beginning, it's not going to be interlinked with all the other different game publishers. But if a publisher has multiple games across their portfolio, at least they will start making it interoperable between these games from the same publisher. And I think that's a really good beginning.
Yeah, it's fantastic, really. It's amazing. One thing, another thing I like to explain to people is that the amount of transactions that are happening in these games. So if you're building on your network and you're like, oh my gosh, we need more transactions or this and that and the other. And a lot of times these older guys, I mean, you might even think I'm one of them, but they don't understand that the gaming, there's a lot of transactions and there's a lot of different trading that goes on, as well as other items that boosted and all these things. So I know I haven't gotten to you yet, so I want to. What are your thoughts on the matter?
So NFTs are difficult to define because, as you touched on, they are everything and all things. You could put in any number of 4 to hundreds of protocols running at once in an NFT. So it is simply the most robust programmable digital asset in existence. So some of the ways that we're using NFTs for Hungry Animals is to manage complex IP and rights management for Hollywood franchises. You get a crate of NFTs, and then it's anonymized. And then you have to use the utility token of video game to train and audition for our in real world 3D animated movie. And if we pick your NFT to be in our movie, then we pay you royalties in our tokens. Another way that I'm using NFTs is that we are, by latitudinal coordinates, putting NFT representation, digital representation of 300,000 hectares of primary rainforest, and that number is going to go up to 1 million. And what we're going to do is basically run dynamic pricing protocols to look at the different standards of carbon sequestration, as well as the carbon sequestration of all living things within the forest. And what that does is it sets a new delta for the true cost of biodiversity on the planet, working with, I can't reveal the foundation, but it's a billionaire foundation out of Africa, a former NBA basketball player. And we also have a partnership with the Allen Institute of AI, which was, of course, Paul Allen, co-founder of Microsoft. And of course, because I had helped launch a blockchain commission for sustainable development, a nonprofit that was incubated at the UN, we would be also working with various UN agencies. So this is what the NFT will do, is it'll allow anybody to be able to come in and run simulations of their biodiversity programs and carbon sequestration, to be able to look at dynamic pricing as well as the quality of soil and water and wildlife.
Very cool. The NFTs is, if the rest of the world didn't understand that we could, as in crypto, protect intellectual property before, they all got the message this time, right? They can protect their intellectual property with NFTs, and this is one of the reasons why we've seen such a large amount of money come into space. So many big name brands, from Disney to Marvel, to even like Budweiser and these other brands, who were scared of really doing anything in crypto, and now they're getting their feet wet. They're all doing NFTs. They're all having a wallet, and this spur of the mass adoption is just going to be absolutely huge. It's one of the reasons why the space just keeps growing, and it's something I've seen over the again and again over the years. Every time I think, well, maybe it's going to slow down here, or maybe it's going to slow down here. And I mean, let's face it, we've had some crypto winners, but then there's some new technology, something new that comes up. So, Olga, I want to go back to you because I just keep thinking of I just looked at it again, even my little my photo with the NFT NFT, right, or in augmented reality. And that's up on my Networks Manager Twitter right now. I have Networks Manager if you want to look at that. So where do you see this going? I mean, what is it going to be like? That's a question I get a lot. I mean, in the next few years, I mean, are people just going to be, are there going to be NFTs everywhere? Are people going to be experiencing things differently?
I think that one of the biggest problems in NFT collecting is that you cannot show it to your friends. You just need to show your profiles. Oh, this is my NFT. This is my NFT. But now the industry is growing and technology is growing a lot. And our first step will be using augmented reality in showing your NFTs, and we implement it in our project with a 3D object. And this 3D object is also ready for metaverse. So, because for metaverse, 3D objects is much more interesting than 2D. And so I think that this is also a very big issue to let people show their digital assets that are NFTs to the friends, because collecting, one of the reasons why you collect is to show, yes, to say the truth. So when you are just collecting something on your wallet, it's not the whole picture. You need to show, and this is I think the second step, and we are going in this direction very fast. And very soon we all will be in metaverse. So start from now to collect your own art collection, because when you have your own office or when you have your own home in metaverse, you need to decorate it somehow. So just doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, our friend, I mean, I'm sure everybody knows Nico DeJong with Blockchain Valley Virtual, is right out there, and he'll do your avatar for you. And put you right in there, and then put you in the metaverse. So that's pretty cool. I encourage everyone to go do it. There might be a line today, because I think he set up all of the pageant contestants to get theirs today. And they might be in front of you. I don't know. We'll see. So going back to Fernando. So tell me how, we have you have a big gaming background. You're really making moves back and forth from Abu Dhabi to here in Dubai. How do you see this? I mean, when you talk to your mom or your grandma, are they going to experience NFTs? Are they going to have them? Are they going to experience the metaverse?
I think that it's just a matter of time, and as Olga was saying, NFTs are the way to popularize crypto in general, because it's something that is visible and probable, and people can have a better sense of understanding. And visually, if there's something that they don't understand, they don't care so much about it. But if it's associated with art, like Susan is doing, if it's associated with visuals, with something that they can have a traditional understanding of, then they are more likely to adopt such a thing. Even starting with profile pictures or something more simple, for sure, it's going to come to that. I think that NFTs is just the beginning, and we're in this metaverse conference talking about it, because I feel like there's such a big relation between metaverse and NFTs. For sure, you need things to decorate your virtual office with, but I also think that it's really about owning the assets, as I was saying before, where if you can create whatever virtual items that can be associated with a brand or anything, and then have them in this virtualization world, you can actually place them in your personal space, or you can actually wear them in your avatar as well. That's why you see a lot of brands starting to develop this kind of content in the metaverse with NFTs, and it's just a new way of exhibiting virtual assets.
Yeah, it is really cool. I always like stick your chest out, just like you're relevant for your avatar, right? Make sure you look good in there. I know you're using the NFTs, blockchain for good. If you could talk a little bit more about how that works, how the NFT you think will work in the future for achieving those goals. Yes, sir.
Well, again, for me, I'm trying to solve a pollution problem NFT for me is a way of bringing some awareness to this. As mentioned, everybody's talking about NFTs here. It's bringing a lot of attention. It's bringing a lot of attention to crypto. The same way we use the token as a tool to bring attention, to raise money to our venture. I think the NFT, if I have to use NFTs to raise awareness to this big problem, to raise money also, I will use the NFT as a tool again. For me, authentication, all these things is fine. If I can attract investors to the cause, to the impact investing, what we do, using the NFT, that's fine with me. And I can embed some investment certificate, the microfinance package into NFT. I will do it. Again, for me, it's purely a tool to reach a goal. My goal is very clear, is I want to do my part to solve a huge problem, and I will use anything that comes. You know, I remember 2 years ago was DeFi. You know, everybody was talking about DeFi. I was with me. Okay, I'm fine. I'm DeFi. I do DeFi. I do decentralized finance is what I do. Perfect. And next is NFTs. Fine. I do NFTs. And metaverse. Fine. Metaverse for me is a perfect playground for activism. Activism on the metaverse is my thing. I think everybody knows about what happened 2 weeks ago or 10 days ago. We have in a Decentraland where people protesting in front of the Samsung store.
Actually, I don't think everybody does know about that.
No, okay. So I think what was 17th of February on Decentraland, there was a big event, and during this event, there was a gathering of avatars protesting in front of the Samsung virtual store on Decentraland. I love it. Right? I love it. It brings a new playground, and what would be mine, because if it's a new place to bring awareness on problems like the one I try to tackle, fine with me. I will be there. I will be protesting myself with my avatar. I will bring some people, some friends to protest. I will make some happening on metaverse. Count on me. Count on me.
Right. Yeah, it's really cool, guys. I mean, you know, and even you talk about the broadcasting and everything into it. I know, Michael, I think it's right up your line again. I mean, everything is changing, right? And so now we have, I can say it's double dipping, and people say, oh, it's not double dipping, but I mean, it's kind of double dipping, right? It is double dipping, actually. You create something in the real world, and you create it in the metaverse, and you can sell both. Right? It's like when we started doing coins. All of a sudden, you can sell your equity, but you didn't have to. You can just sell your coins. You can keep all your equity. It's a great thing, really, you know? And then we see now companies, of course, kind of the move now is, of course, we still have a lot of tokens being sold, but these equity plays, these Series A and everything else, even IPOs, you're going to see a lot more of that as it comes out. A lot of people don't understand the investment vehicle that you need in order to do that. So that's something that anybody's interested in. You know, make sure you talk to somebody that knows better. You can ask me some questions. You probably have somebody that you talk to. But if you are trying to get big money and you are just have the crypto project, you probably need some other vehicle to do that. So going back to you, Michael, I know it must be pretty hot topic, right? I mean, here we are. We have all these events here in Dubai. It's like one after the other, right? I mean, we have. I don't know how many galas I have tonight, but you know, I'm going to come to this one, of course, because you know it's the coolest one, and Jason's a friend of mine, and here we are. But it is happening. So, what are you seeing? What's the demand that you guys are seeing in this space? I mean, are people reaching out to you? Do they want to be involved? Do they understand when you tell them that they're going to have an NFT of the event, of the panels?
What people understand so far is based on what they're reading online, and they just see the prices going up. There's a lot of hype going up on NFTs. Everyone's talking about NFTs being in a bubble, but there's lack of education. As you know, we already mentioned in the previous panels as well. We're all talking about how we need to educate the audience. Here in Dubai, there I mean, they're doing a lot of things that they can do, like they're partnering up with Binance and getting CZ involved, and they're doing a lot of things to help educate the crowd, educate the government to know how to regulate it. So the demands that we're currently getting, well, it's all uncertainty right now. When it comes to NFT, people are just not sure. It's more of a FOMO. So, you know, a fear of missing out. So just, okay, you know, I'll go ahead and buy it, but hold on, you got to do your research. You got to educate yourself. You got to know exactly what you're buying into, so you can know what's the possibility, what are the risks. So, so right now it's more about if you have something to give that has an NFT. The best way to sell it is if you build it for them in a way that is user-friendly, easy for them to understand. They don't want to sit and open a book and learn and study. It's more like self-explanatory and transparent at the same time.
Yeah, it's really amazing, and you know it's going to bring more people in. That's really really the best part about it. I know TouchCast. TouchCast is one of the partners for the Meta Entertainment World. They actually are the metaverse partner, and they have a podium like this, and they do an avatar, and they used it at CES this year in Vegas. It's pretty cool. So they make an avatar, so I could be somewhere else on the other side of the world, and they put my avatar up, and then I speak, and you know it's all very early. You know, I mean, it doesn't look exactly how you think and I describe it, but it is something else. And, you know, we've seen this really start, I think, with art. You know, it started with art. It was the artists, right, who really started putting out these NFTs. I still, to be honest with you, can't get into the monkeys. I mean, I just have, I don't know, guys. I don't know. I see they're going all over the place, but I think with your experience in the artist space, I mean, what are your thoughts on how you've seen it progress? I mean, we've gone from, you know, art, where of course it's so wonderful that the artists are able to get paid over and over and get royalties now. Never in the history of the world has this ever happened. You know, we have, they sell Picasso's. Picasso's family doesn't get any money, right? So now we're in a situation where the artist is going to be able to leave really something of value that could possibly keep paying people for generations to come. It's really an amazing point in history. So if you could share your thoughts on, you know, kind of how that started and the technology that you see it being used in now, and maybe what you predict it's going to be used.
I'm not an artist. I came through blockchain
You look like an artist.
in 2016 through artificial intelligence. So I came across blockchain to actually state data integrity when I was building my training corpus to train my machine learning algorithms.
Oh, wow.
Now, NFTs actually have been around since the beginning of the internet in TCP/IP, which is zero layer. And it was actually first used as a binary and visual representation of a legal contract that was first transmitted as a data packet. And then afterwards, CryptoKitties, those sweet little like memes and green pepe, actually proved out a unique identifier that was encrypted. And so we're using NFTs for everything to represent property leases, to legal contracts, and then with DeFi protocols, we have interoperability between different chains and liquidity. Because what was happening in 2016 that brought on the bear market was, you know, do you guys remember Lemon Coin? Right, it was the idea about how complex it was to use digital assets either as a store of value or as a means of transaction, right? There were all these like disparate little coins in 2015, 2016. You got it in ICO, great price, and then now what do you do with it, right? And that was going on and brought on the bear market. And then what happened in 2018 and 2019 was also we had DeFi protocols where you had instant liquidity, as well as stable coins. So stable coins and DeFi really spurred on this extended bull run because it gave us liquidity, it gave us transferability, and now with NFTs, we saw a binary and visual representation that was encrypted and was immutable.
Yeah, it is really cool, and obviously an impressive background. So I stand corrected up here. Not that art is not impressive, because it is impressive, for sure. So with the NFTs, it has been you know, just really something else. I was at NFT NYC earlier last year, and was lucky enough to sit down. We're media partners there, of course. Lucky enough to sit down with the founder And in the interview, he said, you know, this NFT NYC is this was a Woodstock moment, and it really described what was going on there. They're going to do it again in June, and so we're going to be there. I encourage everybody to come because it is really a fantastic event. They did like 5 different venues. You can go to the website right now and you can sign up as a speaker. They pretty much let everybody speak, you know, and it was like all these different venues. You had people going, you know, all over the place. So there's a Woodstock moment. So I think probably we just kind of go down the panel, really just as a final thought, maybe a minute. But this is a Woodstock moment in NFTs. How do you feel about that? And what do you think that your contribution is going to be?
I'm sure that NFT is the future, and NFT will grow bigger and bigger in every industry, from the some industrial sphere and not only media, industrial and everything. And the interesting thing that NFT NYC has a very big history, this conference. And 2 years ago, there were only 2,000 people in this conference. And now it's a huge event, huge, really. Times Square screens, Sylvester Stallone, or John Travolta.
They were all calling. He said his phone was just the last week. They just kept calling.
Yeah, a lot of celebrities there. So now we see the very fast growth, and I'm completely sure that it will grow more and more. And as for me, I think my role will be to contribute in mass adoption, to show people from all spheres that it's a good technology, and the basic principles of blockchain, transparency, decentralization should be implemented in everywhere and in all minds of people.
Awesome. Fernando?
Yeah, I think the most beautiful use cases of NFTs that I would see, and I would see this as a trend, is having real life value associated with NFTs. And you see this with membership clubs, with shoe apps that will have your shoes evolve as you walk, associated directly with the smart contract. All sorts of things, like Coachella has launched these NFT tickets that you get lifetime access to it if you acquire the NFTs. So I think that the bridge between real life value and actual virtual assets is going to be the key thing to unlock even more value to these virtual assets, and that's going to be the trend for the future. As for me, I'll definitely be using and creating NFTs for a metaverse platform that I'm building, everything through wearables and the virtualization of brand items and things like that. So I think that's going to be a big trend for the coming years.
Fantastic.
Well, I think we should all read again the Satoshi Nakamoto white paper, because it's very refreshing to read again, because the goal was to solve problem. Trust problem at that time was trust. And then the early adopters and the early crypto community was dedicated to solve problems. Smart contracts solve so many problems. And I think we should keep on this state of mind. We are here in this community, it's what? 11, 12 years community? 2 and 3 trillion dollars of wealth created in 10 years. No, nobody did that before. No industry created this wealth in such a short time. But we should keep on this goal, this initial goal, this original goal, which is solving problem. And again, I don't want to repeat again and again, but it's fine. Whatever comes to every year, every 6 now, suddenly it's quicker and quicker. Before we had 2-3 years to understand what's going on. Now it's very quick, very quick. NFTs and metaverse, whatever. Yes, but let's solve the problem first.
Fantastic. Love it. Michael?
You know, we went down so many people and I forgot what the question was.
You can just give a closing thought. Everybody's going to lunch. This is closing thought. You know, it's fine. You can just give a closing thought. I forgot what the question was too.
Yeah, I mean, look, one thing about NFTs, like, sorry, just want to interact a little bit with the audience. I want to see a raise of hands for those who know NFTs at a complete expert technical way, manner. Can I see your hands, please? For those who know NFTs at an expert level. Okay, can I see your hands at an intermediate level, please? Intermediate level. Let's see some hands, please. Intermediate. Thank you. What about beginner? Absolutely. You don't know what it is. You want to jump into it. You need to learn. You see, there was at least 40% of those beginners. There was another 30% of intermediate, and then the experts were I saw just one. And what we need to do here is serve the majority of the people and send the right message down to the right crowd and focus on educating. And you need to also plug in, and dial into the NFT world and start learning what can you do. If you'd like to start, let's say there are some kids in Dubai, they want to start a basketball team. They could NFT their pictures and they could go start a fundraiser. The ICOs are having restrictions, NFTs don't today. Well, maybe they will have later, but right now you could do that to start your own club and start training. And that team, should it succeed, it will grow in its value in that particular NFT. So I'll just close it up around there. There's a lot of potential out there.
Fantastic, and I can't leave Susan out. Susan, last thoughts.
I want NFTs and blockchain to actually not be talked about in the future, that it'll just be presumed that it's a great opportunity for self-expression and for ways for people to make a living for themselves doing what they love to do. So, we went from the information age to the data age to the social age to insights, and I think we're coming to the age of expression, whereby through NFTs and the metaverse, Web 2.0 was about build something, a visual representation on the web of what's in the real world to make money. Web 3.0 is I'm going to build things that allows other people to make money so that we can co-create together a new sense of experience and connection.
Well, it's a fantastic thought, guys. If there's one thing that crypto has done for all of us is bring us all together, and whether you're on one side of the world or the other, if you're on the left or the right or conservative or liberal or whatever you are, we all believe that you should be able to own your own money, you should be able to keep it. We believe in some certain freedoms, we believe in expression, and it has brought us all together. And so I think the future of the NFTs in the space is very bright. Work with some of these people up here. They're all very wonderful people. Come and get to know them and get to know some of the other people that are here. Thank you, Jason and the TNC crew and everybody here for giving us the podium and letting us speak. Round of applause, please.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Bruce, for putting it all together. Go for Bruce! Great job. And of course, well done to all the team. We're going to get the team photo. I'll jump in, why not? Mr. Bruce on my right where I was today. There you go. Hey! Excellent. Make sure you tag all 120 of us when you post it. That's fantastic. Well done, guys. And thanks to Bruce and Michael and Felipe and Fernando, Olga and Susan for making it all come together. And of course, Jason, who's the puppet master of all of us, which is amazing too. We have probably the most important message I've got to share with everybody right now.